This time I have a Philips CD650. This is a very sought after single disc CD player. It features the legendary TDA1541 DAC, very sought after for audiophiles because of its unique sound. And this one has two sets of outputs, an extra filtered output to give you that smoother tube type sound. This one's not loading a disc, and I assumed that it was going to be a belt. Change the belt, it still jams. Let's check this one out. So this player features the famous CDM2, which is the swing arm single laser pickup. It doesn't open. Maybe we got a belt that's weak in this one. Yeah, I would say that there's probably a weak belt. Among other things, I'm sure there's more than just a weak belt, but we'll start there. This one is the unit that's got two sets of outputs on it. It's got the regular output from the DAC, and it's got a second filtered output that I guess gives it additional sound characteristics, changes the sound. It's supposed to give it additional warmth, make it more tube sound. There's the mechanism on this one. See, this is the second filter board. So the main outputs come off this board, and then the audio is taken from this board over to the second board, which has got additional capacitors and additional op amps, and that is to give it a different sound. Now this is a TDA1541 based unit. The DAC on this is the TDA1541. It's under here. Oh, well, it's not only sticking, but it's also jamming. It's sticking. Okay, so this has got a mechanical problem, and this one's used a swing arm single beam laser. But I'm going to have to pull the mechanism out on this, I guess, to see why it's. I mean, obviously the belt is slipping a bit, for one. Let's just see if it plays, first of all. Let's just open this up, and I'll put a disc in here and see whether it actually plays, because we may have more than one problem. But as you can see from the tray, this is a swing arm type linear motor. One of the more sought after pickups that Philips made. Is it going to play? That's the thing. Is this thing working? Is it just the fact that it won't open? Well, let's find out. Look at that. Don't you wish your CD player was that good? Holy crap. I'm pounding on this thing, and it plays. How about the other disc? The disc that's more problematic, which is the good old Staples branded disc that is, well, yeah. Okay. So, is it going to play this one? Maybe. Maybe. Let's see what it does. Let's see how well this one plays. If it does in fact play. Which I think it probably should, but then maybe again it won't. Play. I can hear the laser working. I can hear it tick, 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 as it's going over those scratches. That's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive. Like these players are very sought after. Very sought after. The TDA1541 is one of the reasons why. Even though it's not, like spec-wise, it's not the greatest of DACs ever made. Right? It's just mediocre specs, but it's the way the signal is handled through it that really makes these units have their own unique sound. Are they as accurate as some of the more recent units? Probably not. Oh, I'm skipping a bit. But, okay, we're having trouble reading this disc, but then everything has trouble reading this disc. I was going to say, are they more accurate than the more modern DACs? Well, you can see the disc is in rough shape. Are they more accurate than the more modern DACs? No. The more modern DACs were actually better, but it's just the way that they process the signal gave these ones more of an analog type sound, and a lot of audiophiles bought these machines because they had that sound. Anyway, the complaint on this is not that it doesn't play. The complaint on this was it wouldn't load. Now, we've got a weak belt for sure. Definitely. Oh, now it's going to open this. I might just need some lubricant on the... yeah, I might just need some lubricant on the drawer here. It was kind of sticking. You see? So let's change the belt. I bet that's all this one needs is a new belt. And nothing else. It could probably use a cap job on it at some point, but it's playing and there's no complaints about the sound. So I'm going to leave that at this point. Let's get to figure out how to get this transport out of this unit. Should just be maybe 1 or 2 screws in the whole transport. Should lift out. The belt that I'm looking to replace is down on the side here. At least they've got a cover over the live. I've unplugged it now, but at least they've got a cover over the live. Some of these I've seen that don't. They just have open pins, which is a good way to get a shock. They've got some tape on here. Okay, I think the first thing I got to do is I got to remove the front panel, I guess, to lift this out. I might be able to take it out by just removing this screw here, but I don't know if that'll lift out or not. Or I'm probably better to take the front panel off, so let's do that. Let's remove the front panel. Again with the Torx. Entire chassis should lift up like that. Cool. Look at that. Just nice non ribbon cables that connect it. Nice regular connections that connect it. It's just this belt here that is going to be bad. So we'll just take the belt off, and I'll see if I can find another one to replace it and give this one some more life. I'm going to have a quick word about belts because I get people asking me questions. What size of belt for this piece of equipment? What size of belt for that piece of equipment? I don't know. I don't know the size of belts for anything. None. I buy assortments of various sizes and I go through my assortments until I find one that fits. I don't know the size. Don't ask me what size your VCR takes or your cassette deck takes or whatever. I don't know. You can measure them. Okay? How you measure them is you put a piece of string or put a piece of dental floss around, tie it tight, cut it, measure it, and then take 10% off that measurement. So, for example, if you measured a belt and the belt you needed was 10 centimeters in diameter, you would order a 9 centimeter belt. That's how it works. most belts are measured in inches, so you'll be measuring in inches. So if you had a belt that was measured 3.3 inches, for example, you'd order a 3.2. But I don't know any of the numbers for any belts, so I wish people would stop asking me. And then they get annoyed with me because I don't give them an answer. Well, I don't give you an answer because I don't know. And then there's different sizes of belt. This is a square belt, so this would be an SBS. This would be an SBM. Right, and this belt's a little bit bigger, it's a little bit thicker, and then there's SBL, which are larger still. Right, so that's how you order them. Now myself, I just order belts in bulk. I go on Amazon and I find belt kits, and I just order them because they're cheap. And yeah, sometimes the quality of them isn't as good, but that's where I get my belts from. I don't spend $20 or $30 for a belt kit. And the reason I don't is because when someone's fixing a cassette deck, they'll usually bring it to me and say, I've got a $60 limit, parts and labor. Right? I don't get people bringing me a cassette deck saying, hey, go ahead, I'll spend $200 on it. So I'm not going to go and buy a belt kit that someone's put together, because people do that. People will put together belt kits. They will look up the belts, and they will measure them, and they will make up kits of 2 or 3 or 4 belts, and then they'll sell them on eBay for $20 or $25 for the kit. I don't have that luxury because the customers that I get typically won't spend that kind of money on old electronics. They want it done, and they want it done for a very reasonable amount. And because of that, I have to order my belts in bulk, and I have to order them for as cheap as I can get them. And then I just go through and I'll find ones that look close to the original. That one's too big. I'll find ones that look close to the original, match them up, and then see what fits and what works. This one might do the job. Yes, I do believe that that belt is going to do the job. If you're looking for belts in Canada, well, I mean, I guess they'll ship to the States too, but it's going to cost you a lot more. But if you're in Canada and you're looking for belts, there is a Canadian distributor that does sell belts. You need to know the size, whether it's an SBS, SBM, SBL for small, medium, or large. 1, 2, or 3 millimeters is the size. But the small belts, this is the small, this is an SBS, this one. And like, for example, if I were to measure this belt, just to give you an idea what size this belt is I'm putting on. This, incidentally, is a yardstick, not a meter stick, a very old yardstick that's probably as old as I am. We take the belt, we stretch it out. Not stretch it, but you know what I mean. This belt, if we take the belt and we measure it from one end to the other, is 1 3/4 inches, right? 1 3/4 inches. So that's 3.5. So this would be an SBS 3.5 inches. You see, because there's the 2-inch mark. That's 1.5 there. This is 3.5. So we would take 10% off that. So it's 3.5 inches less 10%. So it'd be like a 3.3 or 3.2, somewhere in there. But that's the size that this belt would be, and that's how you order it. Now, what I was mentioning was where you can get your belts from, if you want to order them. KP Components is the place that I would order belts from. Singles, they're going to be more expensive. You're probably going to pay $5 for a belt plus another $4 or $5 shipping to have it sent to you, but that's the place where I would order belts from. They're actually located out here in the West Coast. They're in Surrey. I used to be able to drive to the guy's house because the guy works out of his house. He used to allow people to come to his house and pick stuff up, but that's no more. It's mail order only, and they ship by Canada Post, and you get them pretty quick, within a few, well, anywhere in Canada within a few days. He ships stuff out. I don't know what his shipping is like to ship to the States or to any other country. His prices are in Canadian dollars. Obviously, you can pay him by PayPal or whatever other means he takes. But it's pretty efficient, and he's got most of the common sizes. He stocks them. I'm going just to put a little bit of lithium grease onto the gear here. Not much. It'll work its way in. Onto the slide here, and maybe down onto these gears down in here. Let them mesh, and let them distribute the grease. Once they mesh together, And we'll just work this through its motions by hand here. Oh, it's sticking. You see it's sticking right there. What is it sticking on? Something's sticking on here. The tray is sticking. Someone's probably going to give me hell for doing this, but it's not going to hurt it. Put some grease on the rails here. And maybe a little bit on the bottom. On both sides. To stop whatever is sticking from sticking. As it unloads, it lifts the tray up, and then the tray starts to move forward. And it, well, now it's going okay. No, it sticks right there. What is it sticking on? It sticks right there. And it's already cleared past the spindle, as far as I can see. I think this is where the problem is. There's supposed to be something right in here. So when the tray comes out, this is what lifts it up. And I think there's something that's missing right there. I'm going to try some of my nice little fancy liquid plastic that dries with the light, and we're going to just put a little blob on there and fill that little hole up and see whether that will raise this up enough to make this thing work. That might be all I need to do. So let's just get some liquid plastic, and we'll put a little blob on here just to give this a little bit of an uprise. And then we'll dry it with the blue light. For 15-20 seconds or so. They say it dries in 4 seconds, but I'm going to give it extra light just to make sure that it is completely set. And see whether that will push this up enough so it doesn't get stuck. This is so cool, you know. Throw some liquid plastic on it and cure it with a UV light. Okay. Let's see whether this is sticking still. Zoom out the camera, and I'll turn the gear by hand. And no more sticking. That is a little bit of Bondic right there. And this stuff is hard as a rock now. That is cool. And that paid for itself right there. A little bit of Bondic. That paid for itself. Wow. Okay, let's put this thing back together. I used to have a player similar to this. I had a CD101. My first CD player I ever owned was a Philips. I think that's all the way in here. CD101, and but it had the 1540, which was only the 14-bit, and it was what it was, right? It was one of the first CD players. It was the first reasonable CD player. When I say reasonable, I mean I think I probably paid $400 for it at the time. But that was back when, like, the Sonys and stuff were going for, $1,000 and up, or even higher. There we go. Why is it not reading? There, now it read. Just takes a second to read. There we go. Anyway, mixtapes. And I used to use the CD101 and the CD650. I could cue one up when the song was fading. I had a mixer, and I could mix music together, make nice mixtapes like a DJ. Yeah, that was, I used to use that player for a while, and then I stopped making mixtapes. When I got my DAT machine, I stopped making cassettes so much and was making DAT mixtapes. I had already got a new CD player. I'd got a CDP1541 DAC, so I was using the X555 or the CDP40 is what had happened. The Philips kind of just sat there. I wasn't using it. And I had a buddy that had the same player. He was a DJ. Did weddings and stuff, right? And anyway, he was looking for another CD player. He had the same one. He had the CD101. And I sold it to him. It's like, I don't need this thing. Here, you can take it. It was a top loader. He liked it. And he used that thing for the longest time. And I probably sold it to him cheap. You know, I probably sold it to him for $100 or something right at that point. But I wish I had kept it. It didn't have great sound. It had quite harsh sound, but when you were just mixing live dance music at a wedding, it was fine, right, for that. Did not have a digital display or anything. It just had it had a bar graph that showed you how many tracks, and it had another bunch of LEDs that looked like little play, arrows, and they would move forward as it played. So if you selected track 5, it would light up, and you'd press next, and you would see the lights moving over from one track to the next. But it was really slow. But it was the same. It was the rocker arm type of CD pickup. I say I wish I'd kept the thing. And my buddy that had it, he used it for a while, and then it was either his or mine that broke down. I don't remember, but he brought me one back, and it wasn't playing. And I told him at the time, the laser shot. It was probably caps in the servo circuit that were bad. But at that point in time, CD players had really dropped in price, and he just gave it back to me. It was either his or mine, I don't know, but it didn't play, and I ended up just tossing it and never bothered to fix it. It was just like, this thing's junk, and off it went. Kicking myself now, wish I had it. Wish I still had it, because it'd be quite a collector's item now. Like this is a collector's item. Anyway, it is now loading the disc. Play. If I remember correctly, these are not the fastest at loading, so if I skip ahead, where's the track? Skip track. I like to go to track 8. That's not too bad. It plays CDRs. I like the display on it. Look at the display on this. Nice display. Nice vacuum fluorescent display. That looks really nice. It's a remote control unit as well. Volume control for the headphones. What's in here? Oh, it's got a keyboard. Cool. Will that take it? Oh, that's index. Minute, second. Oh, wow. Track 15. Track 1. We'll go. Oh, error. Do I have to do 0, 1? How do you do that? I don't even know how to work this thing. Okay, track index, slap, minute, seconds. Track 1. I don't know how to work this thing, which is clear. I have no idea what I'm doing on this thing. I know I was able to go to like track 17. Is there not 17 tracks on here? Maybe there's only 15 tracks. No, there's 18 tracks. I think I put it in program mode. That's what I did. I think you enter the tracks you want to play in the order. So if it's stopped, if you put like 5, store, that's the first track, then 6, store, and then 18, store, and then 4, store, and 1, store. Now when I play it, it probably will play the order that I selected. 5, yeah. Oh, 18, yeah. And 4. Yeah, that's how it works. And then 1. Yeah, that's how it works. You enter the tracks you want to play in the order you want to play them. And those are the ones I put on there. If I stop it, scan. That might just play the first 10 seconds of a track. We move to the next one. Don't know. We'll find out. Yep. That's what it does. It gives you the first 10 seconds. You know, so you can avoid copyright strikes, although that happens at, I think, 7. Plays 10 seconds and then moves to the next track. So that's kind of a useless feature. I guess if you want to preview the disc, preview the first 10 seconds. Now, the other features on here, if I play it, it's got A, B, repeat. So if I A and B, it would just play that section over and over again. Normal play, single play. What does single play do? Just play the single track, I would imagine. So if you put it into, if you give it track 5 and hit play, it would play track 5 and then stop. I think that's probably what that does. Single play would play the one track and then stop. That would be like if this was being used in a radio station, for example, so they didn't want it going on to the next track. That could be what that's for. Copy, pause. I'm going to guess that this is, you would set the length of your tape and it would play the number of tracks that would fit on that side of the tape and then wait for you to flip the tape. Good question. Auto pause, probably inserts a pause between every track and waits for you to... So if I stop this thing, let's see here. I'm guessing that auto pause. I'm guessing what that's going to do is it's going to pause at the end of the track and it's going to wait for me to press play again. Okay, it should pause now. Yeah, that's what it does. It waits with index 0. It waits for the next track, so then you press play, and it plays the next track. Is that how it works? Or do I hit pause? Maybe hit pause. There we go. That's what it does. And I wonder if I hit next, will it play it? It pauses. Cool. And you hit pause. All right. That's what that does. That's what that does. So if I say go to track 1, it will queue it up and wait for me. That would be a feature that would have been used at radio stations or DJs. They pick the track they're waiting to go, and then when they make their announcement, and then they just hit the pause button, and it starts playing. You see, auto pause, copy pause. Again, probably do the same thing, but it would let you to copy the disc, and then it will pause between the tracks, or pause after you set it. I have to look at the manual, but that's kind of cool. If I set it to if I go to track 14, it'll queue up to track 14 and it will wait there for me to push the pause button. That's neat. I like it. I'll have to keep my eyes open for one of these players. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.